if he does get in, I'm going to be president, and he's going to have to do the right thing, or they're not getting any money. He's got to do the right thing.
So that was President Trump over the weekend with a warning for Democratic socialist Zohran Mamdani, who could be the next mayor of New York City after pulling off an upset in the primary. He's facing a lot of questions, including why he cannot condemn the phrase globalize the intifada. He was given 3 opportunities to condemn that phase in a lot of different ways yesterday. Watch this exchange.
Do you condemn that phrase, globalize the intifada?
That's not language that I use. The language that I use and the language that I will continue to use to lead this city is that which speaks clearly to my intent, which is an intent grounded in a belief in universal human rights, people, and that includes Israelis and Palestinians alike.
But do you condemn that phase, globalize the intifada, which a lot of people hear as a call to violence against Jews?
I've heard from many Jewish New Yorkers who have shared their concerns with me, especially in light of the horrific attacks that we saw in Washington, D.C. and in Boulder, Colorado, about this moment of anti-Semitism in our country and in our city. And I've heard those fears and I've had those conversations, and ultimately they are part and parcel of why in my campaign I've put forward a commitment to increase funding for anti-hate crime programming by 800%. I don't believe that the role of the mayor is to police speech. We have to root out that bigotry, and ultimately we do that through the actions, and that is the mayor I will be, one that protects Jewish New Yorkers and lives up to that commitment through the work that I do. Ultimately, it's not language that I use, it's language I understand there are concerns about, and what I will do is showcase my vision for the city through my words and my actions.
All right, with that, we bring in New York City's current mayor, Eric Adams, a Democrat who is running for re-election as an independent. Mayor Adams, welcome. It's good to have you here. What is the fact that Mamdani will not just say, globalize the intifada is an anti-Semitic statement? That means, take worldwide the hatred of Jewish people. What does it tell you that he can't say that? What does it reveal about him, in your opinion?
Well, I can speak of who I am. I condemn that phrase, and I'm clear on what it is. Listen, Mamdani is an academic elitist. Great things that he state on paper, free, free, free. Those are great philosophical things. But when it comes down to governing a city and balancing a budget and ensuring that you can create the environment that we have of more jobs in the city's history. You're seeing how we have made it safe on our subway system and above ground, what we're doing in education. That's what it's going to come down to. And this academic elitist, a person who didn't get a job until he was 29, she was, basically financially supported by his parents. This is about running the most important financial institution in our country, if not the globe, and that's New York. And that's what we need to be focused on.
Do you believe that he has shown support for Hamas? And do you think that this issue is going to hurt him with Jewish voters, which clearly you would need to win that block if you are going to put yourself over the top?
Clearly, he has. And I think that Jewish voters are going to do an analysis to determine exactly where he stand on these important issues. The largest Jewish population outside of Israel is in New York. My focus is on this city because Jewish voters are talking about public safety. African-American voters are talking about public safety. And all the other demographics are the same thing. So when you have a candidate that states he wants to empty Rikers Island. After bail reform was put in place, the most dangerous people are now going to jail on Rikers Island. When you empty Rikers Island, you're returning those dangerous people back to the communities that they have preyed on. That just makes no sense. And only an academic elitist will come up with these philosophical initiatives that are not rooted in logic. May sound good to do everything for free, but when you actually implement them, they do not make sense.
So he seems to have touched on something that is very sensitive to a lot of New Yorkers, and that's the cost of rent, the cost of living in New York. And he's suggesting that, he can make all of these things available to everyone. He pokes a pretty good finger in the eye of capitalism. He says we don't need billionaires. I don't think we should have billionaires, he says, because it's so much money in the moment of inequality. But I want to play this for you when he was asked then and now about whether or not he fits the communist label in terms of what his beliefs are. So let's play the question from Kristen Welker over the weekend and also what he said in the past.
Are you a communist?
No, I am not.
There are also other issues that we firmly believe in, whether it's BDS, right, or whether it is the end goal of seizing the means of production.
So it's a little muffled there, but he says the end goal, seizing the means of production, which is a classic foundation, really, of communism.
Well, and what you find is that many, particularly many of our young people, they are, romanticizing these isms. They're romanticizing socialism, et cetera. What I think is more important is for us to look at how do we lift people up in the city and in the country, because New York really guides the entire country. And that's what we've done. When you invest in paying the college tuition of foster care children, when you invest in decreasing the cost of child care from $55 a week to less than $5 a week, when you invest in making sure you do pre-K and 3K, we have 150,000 children enrolled, the largest in our city's history. When you look at those real issues that allow people to continue to see their opportunities, that's so important. You can't do it as an academic exercise. And I think after only 4 years in the Assembly, not passing any legislation, and to come and now to run for mayor as though this is some essay you're writing or some academic version of running the city, it's just harmful. And in many cases, it could be dangerous for working class people in the city. Like I'm stating that you want government to supermarkets. You are going to devastate the local bodegas and local stores and the local supermarkets where they employ people by competing. Just not the right thing to do.
Okay. Mayor, let me ask you about this, because you were asked about Cuomo and Curtis Sliwa, who are they're in this race. And your response to that was, I don't focus on what the other candidates are doing. But don't you need to focus on what they're doing if you want to win this race? Because as Josh Kraushaar points out, the political math is very difficult. It's a long shot. Don't you need to form some kind of coalition with those two in order to win this race?
That's very well said, because that's what I did the last time. I built out coalitions, and I was able to get working class people that came to my calling of keeping our city safe. I'm not like Mamdani, who wants to defund the police. I'm not like Mamdani, who wants to empty our jails out to anyone. And so I want to build those coalitions, and we can do so. Think about this for a moment. 2.5 million Democrats did not participate in the Democratic primary. 1 million independents did not participate, and close to 700,000 Republicans did not participate, as well as independents, as well as, conservatives. There's a coalition of people who did not vote. Many people saw the primary results, but they didn't dig into the numbers. And I know that my message is going to resonate with New Yorkers that want to continue to see the success that we participated. And yes, the cost of living is just too darn high. We know that. And that's why I put
we remember that from a prior one
back in the pockets of New Yorkers.
I got to thank you so much, Mayor. I have to leave it there. So I just want to ask you a one-word answer, if you can. Will you seek President Trump's endorsement? Yes or no?
Any New Yorker that wants to vote for me, I'm all for.
All right. We'll see what happens. We'll get into that more next time. Mayor Eric Adams, thank you very much, sir. Good to have you with us today.
Take care.
Thank you.
Hey, Sean Hannity here. Hey, click here to subscribe to Fox News YouTube page and catch our hottest interviews and most compelling analysis. You will not get it anywhere else.